We're ready. It's a hearing on non-disclosure, visitation, and conservatorship.
Morning. This is call number 2020-53910 in the interest of Ireland Skinner. All parties, please unmute yourselves. Is Mr. Tobin on video? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Unmute yourself, Mr. Tobin. There you go. Raise your right hand to be sworn. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
Miss Skinner? I didn't hear you. Miss
Yes.
Skinner. Okay. Uh, Ma'am, please identify yourself and who you and your relationship to the child.
I'm Jordan Skinner. I'm the mother of the child.
Sir, your name and your relationship to the child.
Can you repeat that for me again?
Your name and your relationship to the child. You need to unmute yourself, sir.
Robert Tobin, I'm the father.
All right. And for the state?
Houston, Texas.
Turner.
All right. And you have unmute yourself, Mr. Tobin, and put on your video. There. Okay. We've got a petition to establish parent-child relationship. What are we doing today, Ms. Turner?
Your Honor, we're having a hearing regarding at least 4 issues before the court. I have 2 other issues which are agreed to.
All right, let's read the stipulations into the record.
The parties have agreed to a monthly child support amount in the amount of $375, a cash medical support amount in the amount of $95, and a dental support reimbursement amount in the amount of $5. Begin on July 1st of 2021. The parties have also agreed to a retroactive child support judgment as of as of June 15th, 2021 in the amount of $6,765. And Mr. Tobin has agreed to pay that judgment out at a rate of $50 each month beginning July 1st of 2021.
All right.
The issues regarding the hearing are in regards to conservatorship, the non-disclosure issue, visitation, and the geographical restriction.
All right, so far, are these your agreements, Ms. Skinner?
Yes.
And Mr. Tobin, so far, are these your agreements?
Yes, sir.
All right, then let's proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, the state would like to call Ms. Skinner. Ms. Skinner, how old is the child before the court today?
18 months.
And has Mr. Tobin ever caused harm to either yourself or the child? Has he ever threatened to cause harm or actually caused harm to either one of you?
No.
Has there ever been any physical violence occurred between yourself and Mr. Tobin?
No.
Has he ever abused you or the child?
No.
Do you have any safety concerns regarding Mr. Tobin having access to your address?
No.
Do you have any safety concerns regarding a non-party having access to your address?
Yes.
And who is that non-party that you're referring to?
The woman he's with.
Okay, and what are the concerns with Mr. Tobin's girlfriend having your address?
Whenever she found out I was pregnant, she tried to fight me basically and then damage my vehicle. And just since then has just been a hateful person towards me.
Okay, and has she shown up at your home unannounced, or has she threatened to do harm to you or the child within the last 2 years?
Not my current address, no.
And where do you currently live? Do you live in a surrounding county of Harris County?
Yes,
And do you have any intentions of moving outside of that county anytime soon?
no,
And do you have any concerns regarding there being a geographical restriction on the child's residence within Harris or any of the surrounding counties that touch Harris County?
no.
All right.
Okay, so that's not an issue. Is that correct, Mrs. Turner?
Yes, yes, we can go ahead and agree to that.
All right.
Now, regarding conservatorship, Ms. Skinner, do you have any concerns with Mr. Tobin being named as a joint managing conservator or essentially having the same rights as you?
Yes.
And why is that?
He's not been involved in her life, so I don't understand why he would get to make the decisions regarding what happens with her. I've never kept her from him. I've offered him opportunities to see her. He never shows up. He hasn't, I've tried to co-parent with him and he just doesn't. So I don't see why the need for him to have any say in what she does.
And so you stated that this child is how many months again?
18 months.
And so with this child being as young as he or she is, you believe that Mr. Tobin should never be able to make decisions regarding this child or have the same rights regarding this child. Is that your testimony?
I mean, I wouldn't say never, no, but not until he's proven to be a fit father.
Okay, and so does Mr. Tobin call to, just to inquire as to the general welfare of the child?
Not at all. He
When's
actually
the last time? When's the last time Mr. Tobin saw the child?
Maybe 2 months ago.
Okay, and in regards to, or I'm sorry, when he did see the child, was it a supervised visit or no?
Supervised visit, yes.
Okay, and was he able to care for the child during the time period that he was with the child? Was he attentive to the child?
I mean, for the most part, we just went to dinner, so it's not like there was much interaction. She sat next to me. That was really it.
Have you ever given Mr. Tobin an opportunity to care for the child on his own?
No.
Or, okay. And so if you've never given him an opportunity to care for the child on his own, how would you be able to say that he's incapable of doing so?
I mean, he blocks my phone number consistently, so I don't feel comfortable him taking my child and then not being able to get in touch with him.
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't feel comfortable. So I would never give him the opportunity when that's like my life. My child's my everything. So.
And what type of visitation are you asking this court to order today regarding this child?
Supervised.
And why is that?
Because I don't feel comfortable leaving her alone with him and then the woman he's with. And he doesn't let me, he won't tell me where he lives or anything like that. I would like to know where my child's at. And like I said, the fact that he's so quick to block my phone number when he just doesn't want to talk or communicate. And if he has my child, I'm not okay with that.
Okay. And so you're asking for supervised visitation from now until the court modifies the visitation if they were to order that supervised visitation?
Yes.
Okay. And so the child support officer did discuss with you a second option, which was the modified visitation where the visitation would be phased in. Is that correct?
She didn't go over that, no.
Okay, so if this court were to order a modified visitation schedule to where essentially Mr. Tobin would go through different phases of building up the longer periods of visitation, is that something you could agree to, with the first phase starting off as supervised, and as he completes, it'll move on to unsupervised in small increments from like 4 to 8 hours and then to an overnight?
Depends what the timeline looks like, but possibly.
Okay. No further questions for this witness. I'll pass the witness.
Mr. Tobin,
Yes, sir.
do you
Yes,
have any
sir.
do you have any questions for Ms. Skinner?
I pretty much understand.
I'm sorry.
Sir?
Do you have any questions for Ms. Skinner?
No, sir, I don't have any questions for Miss Skinner. I
All right, all right. I'm going to let you
understand what
say
she's
something.
saying.
I'm going to let you say something in a little while, but right now, we'll see. Miss Turner, you want to call your next witness?
Yes, the state would like to call Mr. Tobin. Mr. Tobin, in regards to the conservatorship, are you asking to have the same rights as mom in regards to making decisions regarding this child?
I mean, it depends on what those decisions are to be
Mr.
made, but
Tobin,
I would definitely.
Mr. Tobin,
Can you hear
could you put your face into the camera so that we can hear you?
me? Okay.
There you go.
Thank you. Now, are you asking to have equal making decision rights regarding this child, essentially you being named as a joint managing conservator? Or is that something that is not a concern to you?
Of course, it is a concern to me. I would
Mr. Tobin, we can't hear you. You're going in and out.
my main thing, supervision.
We can't hear you, Mr. Tobin.
Okay.
In and out.
I might need a. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Barely. Yeah. Okay, just don't move. If you're driving, Mr. Tobin, you're gonna have to stop driving and just stay in that one.
I'm not driving.
All right, so don't move, because every time you move, we can't hear you. So are you asking to be named as a joint managing conservator?
Yes, ma'am. I just want to be able to keep my daughter without any supervisions. That's my main
Okay,
thing.
and when's the last time you saw the child?
Like I said, it was like a month and a half, maybe 2 months ago.
And you were spoken to regarding the modified visitation and access, possession and access schedule. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. She did tell me about the 1 to 5.
And would you be in agreement with the modified visitation schedule?
I don't want to be monitored. No, ma'am. I would love it. I mean,
So are you asking this court to essentially just give you a standard possession and access schedule with no supervision?
most definitely. Yes, ma'am.
All right. And in regards to Ms. Skinner's address, have you ever threatened to do harm to Ms. Skinner or the child?
Never, never. Only time that Serena has ever said anything to Miss Skinner is when when Jordan has came to the house. Serena has never went to her house. She has came to the
And,
house.
and has your girlfriend ever threatened to do harm to Ms. Skinner or the child?
Never, never to the child. Never to the child. I mean, when she came to the house, she was definitely trying to get Miss Skinner to leave. So it was that confrontation there. But I mean, never any physical fights or anything like that.
Okay. And do you feel that if this court were to order a standard possession and access order, that you would be able to care for the child without supervision?
Most definitely. Yes, ma'am.
And have you ever cared for the child without supervision?
No, ma'am.
And how would you characterize your relationship with the child? Does one exist?
I mean, not really. Not really. Not
And
really.
why is that?
I mean, but it's not, ma'am.
And why is that?
I mean, it's just the time frames that I've made do have to see her, or we just haven't grown a bond just yet. I mean, it's numerous of times where I didn't got her and she has not cried, where we didn't sit down before. I mean, we didn't took It was pictures before. So the bond is just not a steady foundation just yet.
Okay. No further questions for this witness. I'll pass the witness.
All right, Ms. Skinner, do you have any questions for Mr. Tobin?
Questions for him? No.
All right. Any other witness, Ms. Turner?
No other witnesses, Your Honor. And the state would just ask that the court make a decision regarding the conservatorship, the non-disclosure of the address of Skinner's address as to the non-party and the visitation issue based off of the evidence and testimony.
Well, Ms. Skinner, if Mr. Tobin doesn't know where you live, how would he be able to visit with the child?
He knows where I live.
So that's it. So he knows where you live, and he's not likely to cause you or the child any harassment or abuse or serious harm or injury.
I'm fine with him knowing where I live. I'm not fine with his girlfriend knowing where I live.
Well, I don't know how we split that up, Ms. Turner.
I mean,
Your Honor,
like,
based off of what I've heard, my belief is that that the address, both parties should have an obligation to report a change of address of any residential address to each other. I would not be opposed to disclosure as to her address in the order as to a non-party, but she would still need to notify him regarding whether or not she changes. And Mr. Tobin should be ordered to notify mom of his current address as well.
Yeah, well, I think that's correct.
So my only other concern with that is Mr. Tobin won't tell me where he lives. And last he told me he moved to Austin. So like,
my address have not changed since I first started. It's still 3622 Seabrook. Still haven't changed.
All right. Anything further you want to say, Ms. Skinner?
I mean, there's, in like regards to what Mr. Tobin had said.
No, in regards to this case.
No, I mean, it's just him saying, the times he gets to see her, I've never kept her from him. He's never made interest to try and build a relationship with her. I invited him to her first birthday party, didn't show up. Said he was coming, didn't show up. Said multiple times he was coming, didn't show up. There was one point in time, the child and I both had COVID. I asked him for some diapers at the door. He couldn't even bring diapers. So I had to find a way to get diapers for the child when we were both sick, couldn't leave the house. It's just, he's a pathological liar and has been, which, I mean, he's going to tell you what he's going to tell you, obviously, but he's made no effort to have a relationship with the child because I haven't kept it from him. He's made no effort to do so. I've asked him multiple times to be a part of things with her, and he's chosen not to. And so it just bothers me that he really wants to have say in what she does when I allowed him to try and be a father to her, and he's chosen not to.
Mr. Tobin, anything further you want to say?
No, sir. I mean, I pretty much said what I said. I don't want to, I just want to be able to have time with my daughter without any supervision. I don't want to bash, but I want to talk now. That's all I want.
How many times have you seen this child, sir?
I don't know right offhand.
Well, take a guess. I'm sorry.
I mean, maybe probably about 5, 6.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Skinner, do you have an idea of how many times he's visited with this child?
Probably 7 times, but he's had more than 7 opportunities.
And Mr. Skinner, you did not take advantage of the opportunities that she gave you to visit with the child? Is that correct?
You was talking to me, sir?
Yes, sir. You did not
What was
take
the question?
advantage. You did not take advantage of all the times that she offered for you to see the child?
Yes, I mean, I definitely have not. I mean, it depends on the circumstances. I mean, almost an hour away from me, and it depends on what's my work schedule. What day is she available? So it's a lot of factors that factors in on the reason why I didn't come. A lot of factors. I mean, it's just not that. So yes, I have not taken out the offers that she have gave.
I've even invited him to multiple doctor's appointments. He wouldn't show up for those either. He showed up for maybe 2. Obviously, a young child has multiple doctor's appointments. And so I think it says a lot to me that he can't even show up to her doctor's appointment to know about her well-being.
All right, the court
Yeah,
finds
Your Honor, I would just like to add to that, if I could. I understand that multiple offers have been made in regards to Mr. Tobin having visitation with the child, but I think it's important for the court to keep in fact that there are a lot of underlying things that would need to have to be discovered as well in regards to when he was given notice of those appointments, how much time he had to respond, and the fact that both parents obviously live in 2 different places, which there may be a significant amount of difference in time and travel apart that have to be taken into effect. And so, whereas Ms. Skinner has probably given some time for him to show up, 2 parents running 2 different households, their schedules are not going to always align, which is why they most certainly need some sort of definite possession and access schedule so that he can know ahead of time which time he should appear for visitation.
That's certainly
I've
true in
offered to
almost
meet
I do
all
believe
situations.
Well,
Okay, court can find
almost
it
all.
in the best interest of this child, that the mother be appointed sole manager conservator, the father be appointed possessor conservator, possession and access, modified possession and access with the mother supervisor in the first phase, and each phase equally phased until the child attains the age of 3 years. Non-disclosure is denied. All other stipulations are approved. Anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, you're excused.
So I got a question.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Tobin?
What was I didn't hear the last thing. It was breaking up. What was he saying?
We'll go over it. Log back into the other Zoom for me, and we'll go over it there.
Okay.
Okay.
Both of you. Thank you.